Give me a sec. Bachman, Turner, Overdrive. Hey, you here on 99.3 The Drive, playing Prince George's classic hits. It's the Drive Love Song Long Weekend, as we just heard a great, beautiful love song. Who Do You Love? George Thorogood and the Destroyers. By far one of the icons when it comes to the hardest working groups in rock, in music. These guys just have no quit in them whatsoever. They did, at one point in time, 50 concerts in 50 days in 50 different states. And of course, they are no strangers to Prince George. We show him our love and respect by showing up to the concert and having a good time with him. And he never, ever disappoints. More great concerts always on the way here in Prince George and the surrounding areas. And of course, if you want tickets, you want to beat the box office, you have to stay tuned to 99.3 The Drive for that to happen. Happy Saturday. I'm JD TheMediajack. You can follow me all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and on YouTube. And this is my weekend job. I work for a radio station in Prince George, British Columbia. I love what I do. I have a lot of fun, and if you've seen any of the behind-the-scenes stuff or even my introduction video, then you know that I enjoy doing this. This is currently a live stream, and if you're watching this live, hello. If not, then you're watching this pre-recorded. Hello. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. I'm always keeping up to date with new content, as well as working on having a great communication between you and me when it comes to current events, fun topics, weird topics, whatever the sort. And also lots of video games and news and my friends and having a good time. There's a coffee being made for me in the other room. I'm just going to run out and grab that. I'll be right back. This is a live stream, so I'll be right back. Vader mug. So if you don't hear anything, that is because YouTube would get really upset over the music that I play because it's all licensed music. For example, as you can see, we got 38 Special coming up, as well as AC/DC and T-Rex. And of course, those are all licensed songs, rightfully so. So I'm going to keep the volume down as I work. I'm also going to go to YouTube and share this on my page because I want everyone to be a part of the conversation. My channel. I'll turn that down. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about as well because it was just news and whatnot. And
how's it going?
Good, you?
Good, man. Ready to go home and relax.
It's not a bad thing.
Till tomorrow. Yeah. How was your week?
All right.
Yeah.
Just quiet. I mean, I was in for Darren yesterday and Thursday, and that's always fun.
Do
Also,
you usually just work weekends, or no? You work all week, don't you?
no, I work weekends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. During the week, I fill my time by driving big truck and charter bus.
Nice.
Yes.
So you got a class 1.
I got a class 1.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was that? Anyway, my buddy's trying to do that because he's gonna do transportation for an oil mill.
It's to get a class 1 license. It's a bit difficult. It's challenging, and rightfully so. I did my class 1 while I was working for a company out in Grand Prairie,
Yeah.
and it was. I mean, it was 2 weeks of training, and it was like, here's a truck. Hopefully, you know how to drive a stick.
Right.
And so, I mean, it was intense. And actually, the most difficult part of driving big truck is doing the air brake and making sure you understand all of that, and also getting past the entire pre-trip situation.
Right. So like making sure everything's rigged down properly and everything.
Exactly.
Height restrictions and width restrictions.
Exactly, because DOT wants to make sure that you are aware of the condition of your vehicle before you head onto the road.
Makes sense.
Like a couple days ago, like Wednesday, when there was that big snowstorm that hit us, right? I was loaded with chips coming back from Vanderhoof, and I see a tire, just a truck tire sitting on the side of the road, and then about 2 kilometers later, I see a truck tire and a rim sitting on the side of the road. And so,
Where's the truck?
yeah, well, yeah. So I get up to the top of Josephine Hill, and sure as hell, there's a tractor trailer, 18-wheeler, missing 2 wheels.
That's crazy. Oh man.
So like they want the DOT would then like want to make sure that you went through a pre-trip, and so they go through everything with you and blah.
Yeah,
blah,
for sure.
blah.
That makes sense. It should be like the most strict part. I mean, like that's like the laxest part in like Vietnam.
Yeah.
I was over there, and their solution for oversized loads is to throw a couple people on top as counterweight. Have you seen that?
No.
I'm not even kidding, man. I was motorcycling, and I was just driving behind this truck, and it's carrying like I think sandbags, and it's got sandbags on like a Toyota 4-cylinder. It's got them stacked like 13 feet high. The truck's this tall, right? It's just a
Jeez.
flatbed Toyota, and it's got them like 5 by 5 by like 13 feet. And there's a guy up top, and he makes
He's a counterweight.
yeah, and he makes $2 an hour to make sure it doesn't flop over.
Whoa.
I'm not even kidding.
No thanks.
And yeah, and then you see it too. You see like people like hanging off this side while the truck's like leaning and just drive like that. And their roads are terrible. It's like driving on a dirt road on the highway because the tar is so hot there, right?
Oh, so it just forms.
Yeah, no, it just melts under all the tires. And 180 million people. There's like millions and millions of people drive the highways every day.
Nope. No, thank you. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
Count
it's
me
cool.
out.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yes.
I'll let him know. Have a good one, man.
See you tomorrow. Oh, I love this song. Oh. Oh, how I wish I could play that song. So me being a little long in a tooth when it comes to other YouTube streamers. I'm 38 years old. I'm turning 39 later this year. And I enjoy what I do. I have a lot of fun doing social media, all types of media, radio, social media, video, editing, behind the scenes, in front of the microphone, all of it. I enjoy doing all of it. It annoys the hell out of me, the negativity that is out there when it comes to social media. Twitter can be a cesspool. Instagram, a little bit more innocent. Sir.
Hi.
Thank you. And Facebook, there's a lot of misinformation. And then you have Twitch, which is like a mixed bag, honestly, in my opinion, of wonderful, creative, fun things and really toxic, negative things. Then you have YouTube, where you have great content creators. Some of my favorites, Philip DeFranco, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier. It's actually a goal of mine to meet one or all three of them at some point in time. But then you have like so much negativity, and it's just stuff I don't subscribe to. Whenever it shows up in my suggested feed for some reason, I just rather not watch it. And so I'll go and I'll click the little icon and then I'll say I'm not interested, and I'll tell them why I'm not interested. So when it comes to Logan Paul, a Vine star who has moved over to YouTube and has 16 million subscribers, I didn't think anything of him. I just didn't think he was my type of content creator. And then earlier this year, we had the whole controversy of him going into the suicide forest and doing what he did. He filmed, he researched an area, went off the beaten path, surprisingly sarcastic, found a recently deceased body, a gentleman who had committed suicide, and then decided to film said body and knew that he was going to get demonetized for the video, acknowledged it in the video, but still decided to send it off to an editor or edit it himself and put it up on YouTube. Now, YouTube not reacting to it in time, fine, I guess. I mean, YouTube I can only assume they figured this is our moneymaker, this is one of our biggest streamers and content providers. He'd never do anything silly, so let's throw him up on the trending list and he'll be fine. But clearly it wasn't. I mean, he received so much backlash for that, and it was not just within the YouTube community. It was like Hollywood was freaking out on him. And so he took down the video before YouTube had a chance to hit him. Now YouTube has put his other projects on hold at that point in time, the second movie that he was in and other projects and whatever, fine. And he stays away. He makes one video saying that he's sorry, and he apologizes for it. Then he stays away, and then he makes this big comeback, making reference to, I think it was like Castaway, I believe. And his channel, understandably, got a lot of traction. He got more and more subscribers. Now, it might have been a little bit of a hit to the pocketbook, fine. But then he proceeded to mock those who were upset about him creating that video in the first place. First, his father, calling the people who were upset haters and insulting them. Fine. And then making reference to the change.org petition to have his YouTube channel deleted, which of course did nothing more than create more attention to that petition. And last I checked, it was close to 590,000 people have signed a petition to approach YouTube to remove Logan Paul from YouTube. Will it happen? I don't know, but it's creating a statement, which is something. Then there was the video that was released on Monday where, okay, so the video released on Monday shows him pulling a koi fish out of the water and pretending to give it CPR and throwing the koi fish back into the water. And then footage of him tasering already dead rats that apparently were in his place, in his house of residence. And people understandably got upset by that. PETA got upset by that, but whatever. I mean, I have my own opinions about PETA. Now YouTube has come down hard on him because of a recent disturbing trend that he is on. Now let's look at the other videos that have happened between his apology video and this one, which include him, quote unquote, almost dying because his first chute did not deploy and he had to use his backup chute. And then him making a house arrest from a home invasion. He is well aware that the majority of his audience are kids. And you can't say that he's not aware. YouTube analytics shows you, of the people that have registered either on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, what demographic they are given the information that is provided through that service. That's how the analytics works. If you put your birth date into any sort of website or any sort of service or any sort of profile like YouTube, then that is what the information is handed over to the content provider. So he is well aware that his audience is a younger audience. So YouTube saying that all of his videos have been demonetized. No ads, no AdSense, no income until further notice, as well as his projects to be put on hold until further notice, is a great reaction from YouTube, but at the same time, it is still what I feel a quick knee-jerk reaction. They're still trying to catch up to the fact that one of their biggest content creators is making a mess and is just literally becoming a larger and larger dumpster fire. And it bothers me, but I understand the ride or die fans that he has. People saying that, oh, it's no big deal, those rats were already dead. Oh, it's no big deal that koi fish went back into the water. They'll defend him until the bitter end, and that's what fandom is, and he has created that fandom. I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying that's what it is. People will defend their icons until the bitter end, and rightfully so. That's the type of fans that you want. That's the type of fans that buy his merchandise. Anyone in any sort of industry to deal with broadcast and fandom wants those type of fans. I just don't get his mindset, or I just don't get the mindset of his crew, because that mindset and the fact that no one has said, hey, maybe stay away from life or death situations and stay away from corpses of all types, and also keep in mind the fact that your audience is a very young audience. The fact that apparently no one has said that to him is disturbing, and it tells me that he has, if anything, I can speculate, he has way too many yes men who are getting paid way too much for doing a very bad job. Hold on. T-Rex, bang a gong on 99.3 The Drive, playing Prince George's classic hits. If you like some music and you want to get something to eat as well as something to drink, then Beer Bacon Bands is what you want to be a part of, because it's still coming to town and it's only a few short weeks away. February 24th, the CN Center, where you can see beer, bacon, and bands and sample all different types. Just $39.99 for general admission. You have to get like passes and tickets and whatnot to sample certain things. Of course you are. And you have to be 19 years of age to be a part of this. But still, go to beerbaconbands.ca for more information and be a part of it, because it's going to be a fun time. And I know it's going to be a fun time. I'm going to be there having fun alongside with you. And I'm looking forward to so many of those recipes, finding out what they are, and just meeting certain people, the creators of so much of this content. Beer Bacon Bands, proudly supported by 99.3 The Drive. I saw a comment there. I don't know where it went. Hold on. Or he's just that much of an asshole. I'm not arguing that. Perhaps he does have a stranglehold over the situation because he is the primary content creator. He is the star of the show. And so he can say, no, we're doing this because I'm a maverick. Maybe. What's going to happen? I don't know. What do I think is going to happen? I think he's going to take a financial hit. And if this doesn't teach him a lesson, then he is going to continue to grow to be an incredible large dumpster fire. And no one wants to be around, no one of any sort of financial influence wants to be around a complete and utter shit show. Look at Courtney Love. She is very talented and well connected and a great writer and has an incredible voice. But because she has crashed and burned so badly, no one wants to be around her, and she only shows up sporadically whenever she's an invite, and she's invited because they know when Courtney Love shows up, it is a frickin' circus. So is that going to be Logan Paul? Who knows? But I do know that from a professional standpoint, and being in broadcast industry, that no one would want to sponsor him. You're not going to see Tide. You're not going to see Google, Coca-Cola. You're not going to see Blue Apron or Loot Crate or anything like that want to sponsor him because he is tying himself to so much controversy that he's not marketable. And that's my own professional opinion. I've made my mistakes before in the past in broadcast, and fortunately, I was not known well enough, nor were the mistakes big enough for me to be affected in a negative way for an extended period of time. But these are just my opinions, and I would love to hear your opinions as well. Because just like Philip DeFranco, and he's a very, very smart, wise man for his age, things should be a conversation, especially stuff like this. They should be a conversation because a conversation is where you get to learn things and grow and become knowledgeable, become wiser, get experience. When you negate something and don't listen is when you stop learning. It's when you stop growing. It's when you just become stagnant. So, I am still not a fan of him or his work or anything that he does. Will I think he goes away? Maybe. He might have to find a new platform. Or he might have to really suffer financially for him to learn any sort of lesson, if there is a lesson for him to experience. There's lessons every day. It's whether or not you open yourself up to them. It matters. So we'll see. In the meantime, the petition on change.org to have his channel deleted off of YouTube will grow. That goes without saying. He needs a Scrooged lesson from what? Former social media content creators? Who knows? Have Bill Murray come give him a visit. Oh, I think that would be a treat, honestly. Bill Murray, at least he stays away from controversy. He's weird. Bill Murray is the type of person that goes into a bar and then orders everyone around and then walks out. And everyone just kind of shrugs their shoulders and goes, it was Bill Murray, sure. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, and we can get back to this if you want to continue to talk about Logan Paul. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the Falcon Heavy launch and how impressive that was, because it's just absolutely stunning to think that Elon Musk, a brilliant man, not brilliant in every way, shape, or form. He is by far not Tony Stark, but he's smart enough to know that he had the proper investment, the proper amount of funds, and to go in a great direction and surround himself with the right people to create incredible things, like the Falcon Heavy, the largest rocket in history, the most powerful rocket in history. And not just any rocket, a rocket that was salvageable. Every single piece of this thing was salvageable. The booster rockets came back and landed side by side in unison. Which kind of brings up what was the payload and the point of the payload. Inside this rocket was Starman, who was piloting Elon Musk's very own Tesla Roadster. Now, here's where I'll go a little conspiracy theory, and I know you'll appreciate this, Eli. The entire point of this launch was not only to test the Falcon Heavy, but also to send this Roadster into space and have it orbit Mars for whatever reason. But it was still a goal to be had, right? So, with that being said, what happened was they sent this Tesla Roadster into space, got the booster rockets back, they landed successfully, the whole mission was a success, except they overshot their target. They overshot Mars. They missed it. Now, this Tesla Roadster is on a collision course with the asteroid belt in the Sol system. S-O-L, Sol. How? How can you send the largest rocket into space and retrieve the booster jets? No problem. But then completely miss Mars? Do you think, I'm thinking that he meant to do this. Because to be so precise and so accurate with everything else in this mission, and to go and completely miss Mars and send it into the asteroid belt. It's a little suspicious to me. It's by far and still an incredible achievement. I'm not buying into the whole bullshit about like Starman is actually a dead body as well as there's a dead body in the trunk of the car. Really? Why? What would that prove? He has just made history in a phenomenal way. Like not even Kim Jong-un could even fathom a lie as big as this truth. Why would it matter? Like, why would he then decide to put a dead body in the trunk of the car and then send it into the asteroid belt? I think sending it into the asteroid belt was on purpose. They were hoping for Mars, maybe, but then decided, we'll just send it into the asteroid belt, which is still, you think about it, it's still a history-making moment. No one ever before has sent a convertible into space and then have it get destroyed in the asteroid belt. No one. Which brings it to another topic, the flat earth thing. Now, a lot of flat earthers, whatever, people have their own opinions and own point to a star beside it. You move your hand 1 centimeter, but but the distance, come on now, between those stars is immense. All it takes is someone to lose all it takes is something coming loose as it leaves Earth's gravity. Good point. This is actually a great segue into the next topic here. Flat earthers. There's one flat earther out there, I can't remember his name, and it's not important enough to remember, who used to be a stuntman, has decided to try to construct a rocket to launch himself into orbit to prove that the Earth is flat. Now, when Starman was doing a live stream around the Earth. People were saying silly comments like nice CGI. Really? You thought that was nice CGI? I've seen better CGI in anime. That was a live stream, period. So, flat earthers are saying that the launch was fake and everything was staged and blah, 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 blah. And then there's one flat earther who wants to construct a rocket and send himself into orbit to prove that the Earth is flat. Which, by the way, if he takes off, it's a one-way trip. He will die in the lack of oxygen and the vacuum of space if he succeeds. But that's the problem. If he succeeds, he won't. And he hasn't been able to. There was a launch scheduled a couple days ago where it didn't happen. This is the third time he's tried to take off. His third time he's tried to launch himself into orbit. And this is the third time it has failed. Why did it fail? Do you remember the Discovery shuttle? I believe it was Discovery. The one where they try to send some astronauts as well as a school teacher into space. And then, unfortunately, it came apart in spectacular fashion. And it was because an O-ring failed, which dumped fuel. And then the whole thing just disintegrated, right? So, this flat earther who has this rocket says that the reason why the launch was canceled a third time was because of an O-ring. I think it was his own O-ring, but again, that's just my opinion. So, I still don't get why people believe that the Earth is flat. I think this is just kind of one of those Tide Pod meme type things where people are just saying it just to get a rise out of people because there's so much proof out there to say that the Earth is not flat. The Earth does not have an edge. It's certainly not perfectly round. That goes without saying. But the Earth is not flat. Anyone who's seen an eclipse or the shadow of the moon or the shadow of the Earth or anything of the such can deduce the fact that the Earth is not flat. Because if the Earth was flat in any way, shape, or form, you would see a line in the moon, not just a crescent, like a circular object going in front of a different planetary object. Call me crazy. But also the live stream from Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster showing the Earth rotating. Devil's advocate here, hold 2 coins in front of a flashlight and slide one over the other. Yes, but the Earth still rotates. So, it makes a crescent. I get that. But the Earth still rotates. And so you can't tell me that the Earth is constantly at a flat spin. That would be utterly impressive. That's like saying, no, it doesn't. I get your point. I get the point that you're playing devil's advocate. But that would be like an incredible amount of luck and circumstance for the Earth to have a flat spin, right? It'd be the same thing as saying that the moon is a machine. The moon is not a machine. The moon has its own origins, and yeah, a rocket was never shot into the moon, and no sort of bell resonance came from that rocket impacting the moon. That's just, stop it. That's just insanity speaking through someone else's mouth hole. Anyway, when Elon Musk's Roadster was live streaming the video and you could see the Earth rotating in the background, a lot of flat earthers were saying like, oh, what the heck? I thought the Earth was spinning at over 1,000 miles per hour and the Earth itself is actually in rotation with the rest of the universe, and And also, it's traveling at over 666,000 miles per hour, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, when you're one-to-one with an object that big and you are standing still, then the Earth would be spinning insanely fast. But when you're out in orbit, traveling alongside it, like if I had this pen and it was moving 1,000 miles per hour in front of my face, it would be a blur. It wouldn't even be a blur. It would just be a wish of wind. But if I'm traveling alongside this pen, both of us traveling at 1,000 miles per hour, or even me slightly slower than this pen traveling at 1,000 miles per hour, then this pen would barely be moving. That's just physics. Anyway, I'm still very impressed with Elon Musk and the Falcon Heavy. I am still very impressed with Logan Paul and his constant lack of acknowledgement of his content, his viewers, and social issues. But who am I? Just a radio broadcaster. Just a social media content provider. I don't have 16 million followers. Humanity needs to go to space to survive, so Elon Musk is the savior of our race. Sure. I don't have 16 million followers on YouTube. I have under 100. But I do know that if I were to do something silly, let's say, for example, if I were to, as a silly parallel, if I were to completely finish off a chocolate cake by myself, and it was clear that I shouldn't have done that because the chocolate cake was supposed to be shared with everyone else in the office, I would apologize, of course, because I did something wrong. What I wouldn't do is then come back 2 weeks later and polish off all the cupcakes, thinking that I'm free and clear. It's not cake, they're cupcakes. Do you get the comparison here? Logan Paul went to the forest and found himself a dead body and treated it with zero respect. And then took a break, apologized, and then came back and put his life in jeopardy twice. The parachuting thing, as well as the house arrest thing. Were they staged? That's up for debate. And then abused and killed and tortured animals. Cake, cupcake. I know, a silly allegory, but still, the point is there. I'm going to get back to work because I'm missing a lot of songs, but I haven't missed anything that I need to do. So I'm JD the Media Jack. Maybe Logan Paul is reflective of a larger portion of society. I think so. I think you got a point there. You can follow me all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I stream video games as well as I'm bringing the Flip Side radio show back. Hopefully, very near future, it will be a live stream show because I miss doing the show live. Have yourself a great day, and I got to figure out how to shut this off. And always remember, speak from the skull. Have a good day.